So picture this, a baby crying to nurse, a toddler fussing at the table, dogs whining to be let out, and a microwave incessantly beeping that breakfast is getting cold. No wonder Mo Aiken had a meltdown right on her kitchen floor. The good news? She didn't stay there. Take a look.
Mo Isom Aiken is a New York Times bestselling author, speaker, and former soccer player for LSU. If you're feeling burned out, distant, or disheartened in your walk with God, she wants to help. In her new book, Fully Known, Mo invites you to discover God's blueprint for continually growing intimately closer to Him.
Welcome back to the 700 Club, Mo. Nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you guys again.
So tell me about that morning on the kitchen floor when you felt like you had lost it. At the same time that was happening, you did hear a whisper. Talk to me about what happened.
Yeah, I think back to really a compilation of moments where it was just tough. It was hard. I remember doing so many wonderful things, pouring myself out, serving, working to build the kingdom, but kind of coming up for air and realizing my spirit felt so far from God.
Yeah.
And He met me with some challenging scripture with Matthew 7:21-23, which really says, not all who say to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. Goes on to say that to many I will say, depart from me, I never knew you. And that word knew you, I just began to wrestle with it. God, what does this mean? Because I know you haven't left me or forsaken me, but I'm struggling here, and I don't know that I know you. I don't feel that intimacy. And it's actually through what seems like kind of a scary piece of scripture, He revealed the beauty of the invitation to be known and to know Him. That Hebrew root being yada. Yada intimacy is the most connective, deep, layered type of oneness. Mm-hmm. And when He met me with that invitation to know Him, really in a yada intimacy form, it just unpacked this blueprint of invitation from the maker of the heavens and the earth, to draw near to Him and to experience revival even in my own heart.
So, Mo, what did that look like? Like here you were feeling this emptiness and a lot of the pressure still going on around you. How did you pursue that?
Well, it's interesting, probably an unconventional way. I had been ministering for a while off of my second book, Sex, Jesus, and the Conversations the Church Forgot. So really the thoughts of sexuality, of sex, they were kind of always on the forefront of our minds as we ministered in that space. But I realized in the text that this yada intimacy was the same form of the word used when it would speak of a man had not yet known his wife, or he took his wife and he knew her. And I said, God, what does this mean that you're sort of tying together relational intimacy, even sexual intimacy, as you communicate the depth of your invitation? And He began to just unpack piece by piece for me in a way that I could see and understand this bride and bridegroom relationship, this intimacy that we knew in the garden that was broken when we chose our own way, but that Christ came to break down those prison gates, those brothel doors, really, when we're enslaved to our sin, to set us free and to make a covenant of marriage with us. And then what that intimacy looks like in marriage, it was the most incredible picture He began to unpack. Because admittedly, I had a lot of misunderstandings about good, healthy, right-natured intimacy. So He took me piece by piece to heal those, to show His way, His heart, to restore in me my understanding of what pure covenantal love looked like and how that ultimately transforms us and sanctifies us.
Mo, you say that intimacy comes with a great cost. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about a covenant. Think about the covenant of marriage. It's never one-sided. It's never, hey, I'll give everything I have, and then the other party saying, well, make sure it keeps me happy or else. And there's a beautiful mutual commitment in the covenant of marriage that Christ has given all for us. He has paid it all. But that doesn't mean we abuse that grace and go off living flippantly or maybe in and out of communion with Him. It means that we say, you gave everything for me, then my life is yours. I will give it all. You have, you speak to me, you tend to me, you heal me, then let my life be a reflection of that. And truly living a Christ surrendered life in communion with God. It doesn't always feel great. It doesn't always make us happy. It's a real sanctifying process, but it does bear kingdom fruit, spirit conceived fruit that, man, it shifts the decisions in our lives. Generosity becomes a big move. Self-sacrifice becomes a big move. We begin to look a lot more like Christ, and that's not without cost. That's not always with comfort, but the beauty is that we know communion, and we know that those are empowered by God's grace.
Well, I just want to mention to folks who are watching today that Mo's book is called Fully Known. It is so inviting, and it's available wherever books are sold. I highly recommend it. An invitation to true intimacy with God. Mo, thank you so much. Beautifully written. And happy new baby, whenever that happens.
Someday soon, right around the corner.
God bless you. Great to have you with us today.